Hare Krishna. So we are reciting from 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 15th verse. Sarvendriya gunabhasam, Sarvendriya vivarjitam, Asaktam sarvabhrukshaiva, Nirgunam guna bhuktracha. Translation: the super soul is the original source of all senses. Yet he is without senses. He is unattached, although he is the maintainer of all living beings. He transcends the modes of nature, and at the same time, he is the master of all modes of material nature. So, very, very important verse, very confusing verse, and it's a fundamental philosophy of Krishna consciousness or the Vaishnava Tattva. This verse is a foundational principle of Vaishnava Tattva. Mindly, why Lord Krishna is speaking this verse or this important knowledge to Arjuna? Because he wanted to understand the Gnana and the Gneya. What is knowledge? What is the goal of understanding the knowledge? And Krishna already spoke. The goal of all knowledge is me. Yeah, Vedanta Krit, because the ultimate goal of entire Veda is to know me. To explain what knowledge means, to understand the matter, spirit, and controller of both, Krishna is explaining the science of super soul. So, Sarvendriya Guna Abhasam. Yeah. So, Lord Krishna is telling the senses, what we all have got. We all have the senses, right? Any confusion here? We all have the knowledge gathering senses and the working senses with all of us. So Krishna is telling Sarva Indriya, not only the Indriya of us, Indriya of each and every living entities in this world. The source of all is Krishna. How do we understand? Now Krishna is telling, I am the source of all the senses. Yeah? Sarvasya chaham frudi sannivishto matas smrutir gnanam apohanam cha. Lord Krishna says, I'm sitting in each and everyone's heart. Please understand, Bhagavad Gita has to be connected, all the verses. Then only we can get the complete meaning of what this verses means. Otherwise, this verse can be a conclusion for saying God is formless. If we do not connect all the verses, then we will come to a conclusion is God is formless. You can say, Prabhuji, whether God is having form or no form. I'm working in some company. I have to listen to some boss. Anyhow, पैसा तो मिलता है बॉस से सेवा करने से. तो क्या मिलता है यहाँ पे? अगर गॉड फॉर्म है, गॉड फॉर्म नहीं है, क्या मिलता है? You can then say that, oh, okay, Prabhu, let me just give it up. But if you really want to understand Bhagavad Gita, if you really want to progress in Krishna consciousness, if you really want to develop relationship with Krishna, we need to identify the recognition of Krishna, who he is. The more you know about a person, the relationship becomes stronger and stronger. This is a basic principle, is it not? If you really want to love, let us say, some personality, great personality. So if you really want to know someone, you need to more associate with him. You need to keep on understanding what his likes are, what his dislikes are, what his personality is, how to develop relationship with him, all those things. Is it not? A fundamental basic principle is, if you want to know someone or if you want to build relationship with someone, you need to invest your time on more and more gathering more and more information about a person. But the problem in gathering more and more information about a person in this world is a disastrous. For example, if a girl is marrying a boy, and if girl says, I will do 5 years of knowing a boy, gathering all the information, go through historical records of Instagram, historical records of YouTube, historical records of Facebook, historical records of his WhatsApp, historical records of everything what he has done, historical records of where he has gone, what he has done. I will go to his school. I will try to understand him, what he is. I will go to his college, try to understand what he was doing in the college. I will go and meet all the lecturers whom he is to. And I will go and speak to all his boyfriends. I'm just restricting to only that. If you do that, what will happen? Huh? Yeah, she will never marry. That happens to the boy also. Yeah, so if you try to know more and more and more information about a particular person in this world, we end up with frustration that we will never able to take a decision, because we are all conditioned having limited capability within us. We do mistakes. Is it not? Manogna, is it not? So we all do mistakes. But this doesn't hold for this personality, Lord Krishna. That's why he is called Sarvendriya Guna Abhasam. He is the source of all our senses, but he is senseless. In English, what senseless person you are. You understand what I mean? You don't know how to react, how to behave yourself. This is not true. When I'm saying senseless, means he has beyond senses. What does it mean beyond senses? Very important to understand. You will sleep off if I continue, or you will listen. Very, very important life science I'm going to tell today, share with all of you. Actually, there was one person in Pune who was getting a face operation done. While doing this operation, what happened? A person who is the doctor who was actually doing the operation, because this face consists of nerves. You all understand? All nerves are flowing in this face, because this face is a resident of majority of the senses. What are the senses? Majority of senses. This face is source of eyes, nose, tongue, ears. Majority. What a foolish creator Lord is. One place he has put everything. Is it a right design to do it, Prabhuji? Risk, so much risk. Switch on the AC. So much risk in one part itself. Huh? Single point of failure. Krishna Karana Prabhu used to tell, na, Prabhu, you are the single point of failure. So, when doing this operation, what happened? The doctor, the nerves which connect to the tongue, right, and the nerves which connects ears, he disconnected it and connected the nerves which goes from the tongue to the ears. You understand what I mean? Completely damaged it. And what happened? The behavior of the person, tongue normally, saliva starts coming out as soon as the eye and tongue, coordination is there. Eye sees something, jalebi, the tongue starts, saliva is coming out, which is good for your digestion. You understand what I mean? Because as soon as you see something, you start eating, saliva has to come out, so that saliva has a property within it which has a capacity to digest any food that is being swallowed. So everything went topsy-turvy for him. Behavior of the person completely went topsy-turvy. He started behaving different way, because tongue has to do some work and ear has to do some work. Both are doing something else. Yeah, completely confused personality. As soon as this problem comes, people start behaving weirdly. Why weirdly? Because our central nervous system, you all know central nervous system? Huh? You know central nervous system? Which standard you are in? 8th standard. Come on. 5th standard central nervous system comes. Central nervous system has two nerves. Anyone knows which are the two nerves? Oh, don't go into. No, it is two nerves are there, which is sensory nerves and the motor nerves. Simple. Sensory nerves and motor nerves. What are sensory nerves and motor nerves? Sensory nerves, anything which is touch, taste, smell, then sound, then the touch, I said, vision. These five. As soon as the information comes through these five sources, sensory nerves has the capacity to send the information to the central nervous system. See how the body works. Body works with the cooperation of our senses and the working senses. You are all with me? Knowledge gathering senses are these five: touch, then sound, then taste, then smell, then vision. These five knowledge gathering senses. Then working senses are all there. Yeah. So there has to be a coordination between the working senses and knowledge gathering senses. For example, let us say if you go and if your wife has cooked something delicious and the fragrance are coming, you just suddenly go to the kitchen and lift up a hot aloo bonda or something. Immediately what happens? The signal goes to your central nervous system and immediately you throw out. You understand what I mean? How do you actually respond to it? There is a coordination between your motor senses and the sensory nerve. You are all with me? Sensory nerve sense that it is hot. Immediately the central nervous system sends the message to the motor nerves. That motor nerves, we have bones, right? These bones are all covered by muscles. Muscles has the capacity to control these bones and use it in different directions. And muscles itself do not have any independent thoughts. Muscles have to act. Muscle can act only the information provided by the motor nerves. You are all with me? How many are with me? Rushi, I am going to ask you the question. If you do not answer this, you have to go and ask this question to your teacher. So as soon as the hot jalebi you touch, immediately you just leave it. Leaving it, where did the signal came that the hot jalebi I touched, I have to leave it? Because you touched, the hotness touch sent the information to the central nervous system. Immediately central nervous system sent the information through the motor nerves to the muscles which are having trouble. As soon as the muscles receive, immediately they actually pull the bones. Without bones, we can't even walk. Yeah. Or move our hands. Yeah. Anish, you are getting bored, huh? Too much advanced knowledge now itself. So immediately the muscles tell the bones, just leave this jalebi. You understand what I mean? So there is a coordination between the sensory nerves and the motor nerves. You are all with me? Yeah. So the body is a scientifically developed that any information that needs to be sent, these two nerves work very, very coordinated way. And never the sensory nerves and motor nerves cross each other. They have their different paths. And for this, there is the central nervous system is coordinated by millions and millions of neurons. Brain has neurons which sends electrochemical messages. You understand electrochemical message? How does the neuron actually live? These are all living neurons. They need glucose and oxygen. You understand when the blood doesn't go to the brain, what happens? Brain hemorrhage. Why is the brain hemorrhage? Why is the brain hemorrhage? Because the oxygen, blood has not gone. Blood carries the glucose and oxygen. When the blood goes via, actually our brain has the blood vessels as well and the neurons also. When the blood is passing through the blood vessels are. Prabhu is saying, what idiot? Why did I come here today? Oh, Arun Prabhu, you are okay? I should have only stayed at home and I should have peacefully sat and controlled my breath. I'm coming here. He's telling all about our organs and everything. Stupid things. No, just you have to tolerate me. Blood vessels, when it goes, these neurons which are all surrounded through these blood vessels keep taking the oxygen and glucose and they survive. If blood vessels get ruptured, the neurons which are around this dies. That's why the brain hemorrhage happens. So this is the mechanism of our human body. You need to understand. Our human body has it is a beautiful design. At the same time, it has its limitation because it is dependent on the blood vessels to carry. If blood goes to the brain, then everything works. If blood doesn't go, it doesn't work. Very important. Why did I come here and tell you?
Like senses.
Senses. Yeah, senses. So when we speak about the senses, we need to understand what is the foundation principle with which the senses work. This is how it works. Now coming to the Lord, Sarvendriya guna abhasam sarvendriya vivarjitam. Lord is the source of all the senses. This is how the senses are all managed through the central nervous system, through the motor nerves, through the sensory nerves. But when it comes to the Lord, we need to understand the mechanism of Lord's body works differently to the mechanism of human body. You need to understand about this. When Lord Krishna, when in the Kurukshetra war, when the Arjuna was fighting with whom? Jayadratha, yeah? When Jayadratha was, challenged by Arjuna that if I don't kill you, I am going to, Agni Pravesh, I am going to fall into the fire. Now Lord Krishna ensured that he moved his hand to the sun and covered the sun. He didn't have any burning sensation on his hands or anything. Simply moved his hand and covered the entire sun with the cloud. What do we understand from this? We need to really understand that Lord's body works completely different to the human body. How Lord's body works differently to the human body, we need to. That's why Lord Brahma, praying in Brahma Samhita, Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimante pashyanti panti kalayam chiram jagante आनंद चिन्मय सदुज्वल विग्रहस्य गोविंदमादि पुरुषम तमहं भजामि. Lord Brahma is telling, can you just wipe this? Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti. Lord Brahma is praying to Lord Krishna and telling, oh Krishna, your one sense can do the work of all the senses. That is why Lord Krishna is senseless. You understand? You are all with me? So why? Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti. Vritti means work, the function. Sakalendriya, all the senses work. One sense does. For example, if you offer food to Lord Krishna, he doesn't need to go into the urad dal and check urad dal is smashed properly and eat the urad vada. No, absolutely not. Because by eyes of Krishna seeing the bhoga that is being offered, Lord Krishna understands the taste of it. He actually gets the matter which is within the bhoga and he gets the digestion also. Everything works without even having to spend all your 25 urad vada that is being offered to him. Everything goes into his stomach and he remains also. See, such a mercy Lord is giving you. He's telling, patram pushpam palam toyam yome bhaktya prayashyati. Please offer me something. When you offer, he leaves everything to you. You understand what I mean? That is how the senses of Krishna works. You understand? You are all with me? You are understanding? Otherwise, if you're reading this verse, you come to an understanding that Lord is formless. Nirguna, nirakara. But this verse has a different meaning completely if you dive into it to understand. Krishnan Prabhu. So, Sarvendriya guna abhasam, Sarvendriya vivarjitam, he doesn't have any senses. That means that the material definition of the senses doesn't work with Krishna. Krishna has spiritual senses. What is the capability of spiritual senses? Spiritual senses, just seeing the mango, completely get satisfied, just like a person who would have seen, who would have touched, who would have cut, who would have put in his tongue, who would have eaten, who would have digested. All these things happens by just seeing a mango. This is the power of spiritual senses. That is why Krishna is telling Sarvendriya Vivarjitam. He doesn't have any senses. That doesn't mean that he is, he doesn't have a body at all. Otherwise, why does a Brahma says Ananda Chinmaya Sadujjvala Vigrahasya? Ujjvala, brightening, splendorous body of Krishna. Vigraha, the body of Krishna. Govinda Mahadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. This Govinda, I am paying obeisances to him. Why do we need to understand this? Again, coming back, if you really want to understand Bhagavad Gita, if you really want to develop a relationship with Krishna, these fundamental philosophy, everyone needs to digest. Otherwise, if some person goes and says, you can worship any God, God is created by us. A person who puts the goggle, goes in Enfield bullets, and he's becoming a spiritual leader for the entire world. 2 days back, he spoke to a gathering of millions of people, and he said, who created God? And he started sarcastically laughing. God is created by humans. You understand what I mean? Why do we get into it? Because when we do not read Bhagavad Gita, when we do not accept the scriptures that is given by Veda Vyas, fundamental, foundational principle of creation implies creator doesn't come at all. Doesn't come at all. We end up basically making people atheistic. Superficially spiritual, but internally atheistic. That's where very, very important to understand clearly Bhagavad Gita, going to the deep. Yeah, the Tarka, Mimamsa, and the Nyaya philosophy. How many of you have heard? The Nyaya philosophy school of Vedas has a section of logical understanding. What is that section of logical understanding? It's called Arthapatti. For example, I say, Akash, who is sitting here, how is he looking? Handsome. Okay. Everyone agrees that Akash looks handsome? How many don't agree that Akash doesn't look handsome? He looks handsome. If I say Akash doesn't eat all day, yeah, Akash doesn't eat all day, but he is putting on weight. Yeah? You understand, or you are getting confused? Akash doesn't eat all day, but he is putting on weight. What does it mean? What does it mean? Very good. At least, come on. He is eating at night. You are all understanding? Simple. If this is called Arthapatti, the Nyaya philosophy of Vedanta Sutra, which actually clarifies puzzling contradictions. You understand what I mean? Puzzling contradiction, controversial statements. Two statements have completely different understanding. To understand it properly, we need to understand that Akash is eating at night. Similarly, when Lord Krishna says, I am the source of all the senses, but I still don't have any senses, that means that Lord doesn't have the senses like us. Simple. You are understanding? So, here, there's a beautiful verse in the purport Prabhupada saying, Shveta Shvatara Upanishad, the verse says, Apani Pado Javano Granito. Pashyati Achakshuhu. Shrunoti Akarnaha. These 4 statements are given. Very, very important. It might be technical for some of you. You might be thinking, when the prasad is going to come, Prabhu? But really, if you really want to understand Bhagavad Gita philosophically, dive into it, you need to develop a taste for it. Taste. Karthik? Taste. You want to put a stall, right? You need to have a taste. If you have a taste for something, you will put a stall in SJC. Yeah? So, taste for it. So, what is Apani Pado Javano Granito? What does it mean? Lord doesn't have hands. Yeah? But he holds everything. Doesn't have hands, but he holds everything, picks everything. He doesn't have legs, but he walks. Pashyati achakshuhu, he doesn't have eyes, but he sees. You understand? He doesn't have ears, but he hears. Shrunoti akarnaha, pashyati achakshuhu. This definition clearly makes a superficial person to come to an understanding. Lord doesn't have hands, Lord doesn't have legs, Lord doesn't have eyes, Lord doesn't have nose or ears. Lord is formless. You are all understanding? What does the deeper understanding of it means? Deeper understanding of it means Lord doesn't have the ears like us, Lord doesn't have the eyes like us, Lord doesn't have hands like us, Lord doesn't have the legs like that. If Lord had legs like us, simple thing, how long a high jumper can go pro? What is the world record? Any person who has done the high jumping and he has, he jumps using his legs and goes. How long a person has achieved? You need to understand, Prabhu. I am doing life science. I really want to go deeper into it. This is the life science. What is the world record? Go into the Google. What is the world record? Whatever, 11 feet or 12 feet or 13 feet, whatever you consider. This is the maximum high jumper we have as a human. But the Vamana avatara of Krishna used his leg to cover the entire three worlds. Entire three worlds. And this leg was so short. By the human calculation, he was a dwarf. You understand? Apani Padav Javano Grahito. Shvetashvatara Upanishad. What does it say? Lord doesn't have legs, but he still walks. Lord doesn't have hands, but he still, everything is in his reach. Means Lord, even though he was a dwarf Brahmana, could able to cover the entire three worlds with a small. Yeah. This is called Supreme Personality of Godhead, because the material calculation of our senses, of knowledge gathering and the working senses, doesn't even work with the Supreme Lord. You are all understanding? Yeah? Huh? So, Asaktam Sarva Brukchaiva. The third line, Lord is telling, He is the maintainer of everyone. But He doesn't have anything with Him. He's maintainer of everyone. He doesn't have anything with him. For example, let us somebody says, I don't have any cash with me. Do you agree with it? Every day he draws out crores and crores of rupees from his bank account and pays to everyone, and he says, I don't have a rupee with me. Do you agree with this? Do you agree? How many of you agree? When he is paying to everyone every day, and if he says, I don't have a money, do you agree with it? Similarly, when Lord is maintaining everyone, providing everything, all ingredients to all of the living entities in this world, and he says, I myself don't have anything with me, what does it mean? The ingredients which sustains it, which nourishes it, Lord doesn't require it. You are all understanding? You are all understanding? Asaktam sarva brukchaiva. Venkatesh Prabhu, you are with me? Asaktam sarva brukchaiva. He is maintaining everyone, but he is disinterested. Why is disinterested? I had given this example. Your Microsoft owner starts supermarket in India. Does he really bother about whether the supermarket is working in India? What he is getting nowadays, he is more interested in technological agriculture in India. He's investing in so many farmers and he's buying technology for them to help in agriculture. If they misuse it, is he really bothered about it? He's investing crores of rupees to it, but for his life, he is not going to be dented if something doesn't work out with those investments in India, because he has something beyond it. Similarly, for us, if you are maintaining something, we become extremely attached. You understand? With little bit of limited resources, what we are trying to use it for, if those resources get misplaced, we become really frantic. Lord is absolutely not at all bothered, because he doesn't rely on any of these resources for him. You are all understanding? Do you understand the concept of Supreme Personality by reading these verses? Nirgunam guna bhoktracha. Though he has given the qualities to all of us, he himself doesn't have any qualities. What does it mean? That's why, oh, don't put anything food with salt. You should only give rice. You should only give dal, which is steamed, to the Lord. Then adding spices, adding sugar, adding salt, adding chili, everything is for us. For Lord, it should be bland. And bland means no salt also. There are tradition which says you should offer, if you're offering, only offer, tur dal which is completely steamed, just bring the tur dal and keep it. Then you add a rasam powder. Then you add tamarind, juice to it. Then you add jaggery. Then you add salt. Wow, wow, wow. So nectarian. For us, we want rasam. For Lord, we want steamed turda. But Lord, when he's saying nirguna, doesn't mean he doesn't have any qualities. That's why I sang this song, right? Harinama Tuva Aneka Swarupa. When we start chanting, the Bhaktivinoda Thakur is telling, as soon as you chant the names of Lord, all the unlimited qualities of the Lord starts coming up. We will be able to understand. For example, Kushi is being given a task of carrying 50 kilo of things to her house today. Kushi, where are you going to put 50 kilo? On your head? Will it sustain? Huh? What is the maximum capacity we have to carry thing? How much? People exercise day in and day out to carry tons, at least 100 kilo. They have to exercise, right? Day in and day out. But this Krishna didn't go to any gym. No gym at all. This Krishna had body which is made with the milk given by Yashoda. That's all. Milky body. Milky, tender body of Krishna, and the least possible part of his body was this small fingers, this small finger. And this small finger he used to lift the Govardhan hill. You understand? You are all with me? Is it possible to conceive supremacy of the Lord? Impossible. That's why Nirgunam Guna Bhoktracha, although he is the master of all the qualities, but still he has no qualities. What does it mean? Yeah. If our capacity of quality, we can only manage 2 kids at home. Maximum. Having 2 kids itself, it becomes a headache to manage. But the Lord, because our qualities are restricted, we have goodness, passion, ignorance, limited quantity. Goodness, you need lot of goodness to take care of idiots at home. Lot of goodness. But that goodness is so less, it empties in the middle of the day itself. And after middle of the day, you start behaving crazily with children who are not at all listening. You understand? Venkatesh Prabhu is same with Karthik also for you. Don't start glorifying. No, Prabhu. Karthik is my gem of a boy. No. He also, Prabhu, AC is not working, Prabhu. So, but Lord's guna is unlimited. 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 That's why Lord Brahma in Srimad Bhagavatam tells, Kona matrupye rasavit katayam mahattamekanta parayanasya na antam gunana magunasya chakmo yogeshwaraye pavapadma mukhya. Kona matrupyet. The name of one person which can give unlimited happiness, unlimited satisfaction. Ko Nama, that name which can give unlimited satisfaction. Trupyet means what? Satisfaction. Ko Nama, which name that can give unlimited satisfaction? Trupyet Rasavit Katayam. trying to take out the juice day in and day out all the time by hearing the topics about that person who has that name, which gives unlimited satisfaction. Mahattamekanta parayanasya. Those, personalities who have given up their life only dedicatedly taking those names. Mahattamekanta parayanasya. What is parayana means? Reciting, chanting. Those personalities who keep on chanting the names, Konama, and derive satisfaction, and yet spending all the time, those people who had 10,000, 20,000, 100,000 years. This is spoken by Lord Brahma, in Srimad Bhagavatam, which goes millions of years back. He's telling those personalities who take the names of the Lord Krishna, and they are completely satisfied, but yet they are not satisfied. And they keep on hearing about beautiful pastimes of the Lord. Why? Na antam gunanam. There is no end to the qualities of the Lord. You are understanding? Na antam gunanam agunasya jadmo. That is why he is called agunaha. You are understanding? Here when Lord Krishna says nirgunam gunabhoktracha. When Krishna is saying nirgunaha, he doesn't mean that he doesn't have any qualities, he is formless. He has guna which is transcendental, which is not limited to the guna what we have with us. His goodness is unlimited, beyond our conceivable capacity. You are understanding? Nirgunam guna bhoktracha. Na antam gunanam. His qualities are endless. That is why all the saints and personalities have spent their entire life chanting the names of the person, Krishna, and reciting his glories and reading his pastimes entire life, because na antam gunanam, his qualities are endless. That is why he is called agunaha, nirgunaha. That is why he is called nirguna. Nirguna doesn't mean he doesn't have qualities. Nirguna means he has unlimited qualities which we cannot even perceive with our material qualification. That's why Yogeshwaraye Bhavapadma Mukhya. Brahma is telling to Narada that because of this, even me, Bhavapadma. Who is Bhavapadma? Who has come out of the lotus? Brahma. Yeah. Yogeshwara. Who is Yogeshwara? Lord Shiva. Even Lord Shiva and myself, Yogeshwaraye Bhavapadma Mukhya, all the chief saints, they are unable to understand the personality Krishna. You are understanding? You understood this verse? Sarvendriya gunabhasam, sarvendriya vivarjitam, asaktam sarvabhutchaiva, nirgunam gunabhoktacha. The super soul is the original source of all senses, yet he is without senses. He is unattached, although he is maintainer of all living beings. He transcends the modes of nature, and at the same time, he is the master of all the modes of material nature. Yeah, and I'm going to share my number. Someone who doesn't have one, see how much limited capacity I have. I want all of you to summarize your understanding after taking prasad, going home, before sleeping. Summarize your understanding, send your understanding by WhatsApp to this number. At least stays with you for some days. Yeah? Okay? Hare Krishna. Thank you.